Okay. Well, maybe this will work after all. So I'm kind of recording this as a test, but if I get the words out okay, I may go ahead and publish it. Because one of my goals for 2026 is that I would kind of like settle down with the perfectionism a little bit and sort of just lean into when I feel like I'm ready to say something, just go ahead and say it. So, hey, welcome to 2026. Can you believe? If you're watching this, I'm kind of assuming that you've decided to make this the year that you're going to either become a content creator, you're going to up your game as a content creator, you're going to move your content creator from, hobby phase to professional phase. And if that's you, my dog just hit the tripod. Anyway, if that's you, you're in the right spot. I'm Jen. This is my third YouTube channel. I have over 120,000 subscribers spread out over 3 channels, including this brand new one that you're watching me on now. I built my business with nothing but literally my iPhone and this basement where we are right now. I do travel vlogs, home organizational content. I just got done with Vlogmas, which I think I'm going to do a whole separate video for you guys about what that was like. And my business this year, probably, I just looked at numbers before I started recording. I should end the year right around $120,000 in gross revenue. Okay. So unfortunately, that does not mean that I made $120,000. I did get paid something. I took a lot of great trips. The business paid for a lot of amazing things for me. It is, by all measures, a successful small business. And one of the things that worries me when I watch content creator channels, well, there's 2 things. The first thing that worries me is when people who have never created a successful business as a content creator make content about being a content creator. That doesn't really make sense to me. So if you're watching a lot of other gurus, I would dig a little bit deeper. And we're definitely out here making the content, but make sure that the person that you're watching is actually a content creator and not somebody that's just talking about being one, but has never actually done it in their own independent way. There are actually a lot of scams out there. There's a lot of people selling you courses and ebooks and all of these things, making ridiculous promises, but they've never actually done it. So that is one thing that concerns me. The other thing that concerns me is when we are listening to information from people that have millions of subscribers, or they're telling you how to emulate people who have millions of subscribers. And there's kind of this disconnect where they will talk about either people who have 0 subscribers or people who have, 200,000, 300,000, a million subscribers, completely forgetting about the thousands upon thousands of us that are chugging along, waking up every day, ordinary people making content and making our living making content. I think it's a lot like I wanted to become an actor when I was young. And I think it's a lot like thinking that you want to become a movie star. And I had a fabulous acting coach who told me once, don't try to become a movie star. Try to become a working actor. If you're a working actor, you're doing better than the vast majority of people out there. That should be your goal. Be good at your craft, put work out that you're proud of, and go from there. So yeah, that was kind of my goal when I became a content creator, was to be a working content creator, to truly make my living doing this, and I have been able to achieve that goal. I'm really proud of it. I'm proud of the fact that I've built a team. I'm proud of the fact that I hire contractors and I put money into the economy, and it's all because of what I started right here in my late 40s after leaving my corporate job. No special skills. I had to learn everything from scratch. It was a lot of work, but I just got a text message from a friend last night, and she was like, I was just sitting here watching TV and on YouTube, and your video came up. And I thought, that's incredible that just shows up on my TV. And yeah, it's kind of incredible to me too. So that's what we're about here. And throughout 2026, actually, I don't even want to say throughout 2026. Let's start small. Let's say for the first quarter, for January, February, and March of 2026, I'm going to be bringing you more like business focused updates. I just realized that this wasn't shot. Speaking of perfectionism, do y'all have one of these, by the way? I'm getting ready to do my Patreon live stream holiday party, but we're doing it as a Zoom call this time. So I have to do it on my computer. And my son gave this to me a few years ago. I always forget how to use it. And you prop your computer up on it. So it works really good for Zoom meetings, but that did not need to be in shot. Sorry about that. So we're going to talk about kind of the day-to-day nuts and bolts life of a professional content creator. And we're going to talk about things like how and when to work with brands. We're going to talk about things like how and when to use a subscription model, kind of to take your audience back, whether that's through Patreon or Substack or some other model. I use Patreon mostly because Substack wasn't really a thing when I first started doing a paid subscription model. But in these dark days, owning your own content and especially having access to your own audience is probably more important than it's ever been. So having something else other than just YouTube or TikTok or Instagram or whatever is so vitally important. We're going to talk, like I said, about Vlogmas. Should you do a filming challenge? I did 21 videos in the month of December, which was completely exhausting. And I think for next year, I'm going to have to do things a little bit differently. It had some definite benefits for me. It can be a huge benefit if you're just starting out and you're not quite comfortable yet. You're trying to get comfortable with your setup or the camera or editing or whatever the case may be. By the end of doing 20, 21 videos, or if you did like a full Vlogmas and you did 24 or 25 videos, you'll be very much more adept than you ever thought you could be, because it's really frequency and doing it over and over and over again that makes you able to do it over and over and over again. It's not rocket science. There's a whole bunch of us that are just ordinary people that picked up our phones, started talking to the camera about whatever it is that we're passionate about, and we're making our living doing it. If you want to dive deeper with me, I actually have an e-course. You can hire me for consulting. I'm thinking of offering, in fact, when I do this Zoom call with my patrons today, I'm going to see how easy that is. I'm thinking of offering a cohort, which would be a group of maybe 10 or 15 creators, and we would meet weekly for a period of time, maybe 60 days, and we could kind of hold each other accountable and create content together and do all of that sort of thing. So if that's something that sounds interesting, I floated that idea before, and this may be 2026, may be the year that I finally make that happen. But really, I just want this space to be the things that I wish I knew before I started, and the content that I looked for and I couldn't find. Not the content that tells me how to get monetized in 30 days, because I just don't think that's realistic for most people. Not the content that tells me, guarantees me X amount of dollars if I follow this formula, because I think by and large, those people are selling something that is not accurate and it just doesn't work. But more a professional space for those of us that call this our job, where, when we go to the doctor, we have to fill out a form or whatever, and it says occupation. I'm either putting small business owner or I am putting content creator. Sometimes I'm putting digital creator. It just kind of depends on the context. But this is a very real job. This isn't made up. This isn't a scam. I produce content and I get paid through Google AdSense, through sponsorships, through Patreon, through a variety of different things. And if that's something that you're interested in, you're in the right place. So go ahead and subscribe. I'm not clear yet on how often I will upload this year on this channel. I hope to upload at least once a week, but if I get chatty or like there's something really exciting I want to talk about, the whole point of having this whole area set up like this is so I can come down here and just start talking when either it's something in the news or maybe some algorithm change, don't even get me started, or some trend that I feel like we need to be talking about. I will come down here and we will talk it through. I will tell you, when I look at the videos that are out there about 2026 trends, there's a few things that I think are going to happen this year. As we all know, those of us that make this our living, the algorithm has been messed up on all platforms lately. But I think it's going to be the year of kind of blowing all that up and us all getting back to just creating content and connecting legitimately with our audiences. I think the public is fatigued from AI. They don't want, big splashy showy. They want real people giving real practical advice, sharing real stories, and they want connection. And I think we're going back to that form of YouTube, of vlogging, of talking to the camera like you're talking to your best friend, and less of like the how to. Because in the world of AI, how-to videos have almost become obsolete because even if you make a how-to video, right, they're summarizing it underneath your video. And so the engagement just isn't there anymore. But I think old school vlogging is going to make a comeback. Not like splashy, super highly edited, but just not necessarily like day in the life content. I think it's going to be old school vlogging, but with a purpose. That's what I intend to do over on my main channel for this next year. So fingers crossed. I hope that's going to be what it's going to be. And I just feel like us all taking a collective breath and kind of not going backward, but also not like aggressively pushing forward, just kind of trying to meet people where they're at. We're in a terrible place in the US with our economy, and people don't want to be sold to every 5 seconds anymore. I think we're going to see that really play out. I've watched several videos talking about how the influencer economy is dead. I was never really part of the influencer economy. This keeps happening to me because this is I'm starting my 9th year on YouTube, and I keep hearing these trends, and before I ever get on board with it, the trend is over. So, that's never really been my thing anyway. But I do think people are fatigued of that. They're really polished, flashy, everything in my life is perfect. And if you buy these products, everything in your life will be perfect too. I just don't think it's sustainable. And I think people see through it. So I'm thrilled about that because that's always been my jam. But if you're new to YouTube and you feel like, oh, I could never do this because my house isn't perfect or this isn't perfect or my makeup isn't perfect or blah, 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 I think you might actually find this to be like your year. This could be your year because things, I think, are going to be a lot more relaxed. And I think that we're all going to find the audience that is meant for us. And I think we all crave authentic, real human connection. So how does that play out in terms of like brand sponsorships and all of that? I don't know. I saw a lot fewer opportunities this holiday season than I've ever seen. And I've heard the same thing from a lot of other creators. So it will be interesting from a marketing perspective to see how all that is going to play out. But we'll talk about that. Like as I see different trends, I have a lot of friends in the industry. We talk about it a lot. I see right now a lot of people saying they know what's coming who I don't think have any idea what's coming. So I'm never going to make promises to you guys, but I will give you the respect of talking to you like the professional that you either are or that you hope to be. So yeah, let's get started. I think it's going to be a really great year for all of us. And welcome to my studio space. Welcome to my channel. And I'm really glad you're here.